Okay, so let's unpack this. Picture this. You're mid-conversation, right? Maybe just ordering coffee. Could be anything.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're in a work meeting trying to explain something important, and then suddenly, bam, it happens.
That moment.
A word you know, a word you've used, I don't know, countless times, it's just gone. Poof. Vanished.
It's a frustratingly familiar feeling, isn't it? Really something that connects language learners everywhere.
Fascinating.
And, it's worth remembering that even native speakers get that tip of the tongue thing where it feels just out of reach.
Absolutely. And that feeling, that exact moment is what we're diving into today. This deep dive is all about helping you handle those times when words just disappear while you're speaking English. And maybe more importantly, we're going to look at ways to make it happen, well, less often.
And our guide for this, our main source, is a really fantastic resource. It's a transcript from the Easy English Talk YouTube channel.
Oh.
Yeah, an episode by English learning experts Jason and Julia. They've laid out some really practical stuff. Think of this as us digging into their key insights for you.
Exactly. So our mission for you today, it's pretty straightforward. Give you some real tangible techniques and help build that confident mindset so you can handle those frustrating blanks.
We want you feeling empowered, not flustered when a word takes an unexpected break.
Right. And maybe to kick things off with something relatable, Jason shared this kind of funny story.
Oh, yeah.
Picture being caught in a classic London downpour, right?
Right.
Desperately needing an umbrella. But the word umbrella just gone.
Oh, I remember reading that. He ended up gesturing and asking for the thing that blocks the rain.
Exactly.
And the shopkeeper, thankfully, got it, understood the universal sign for I need to stay dry, and found him an umbrella. It's actually pretty funny and shows how common this is.
It really is. And Julia had a similar one from her university days, giving a presentation, and the word environment just vanished.
Oh, wow. High pressure situation, too. Totally. But what's really interesting is how she handled it. Instead of freezing, she just described it, the world around us, nature, people, air, water.
Oh, smart.
And she just kept going. That ability to describe, to find another way, that's such a key strategy right from the start.
Okay, so it's clear this isn't just a you problem that happens to everyone. But let's dig into the why a bit more. Why do these words go missing? Jason and Julia had some good points on this.
Yeah, they did. And they started with something really important, just to kind of lower the stress levels.
Okay.
Forgetting words. It's perfectly normal, even for native English speakers. Especially, they said, if you're nervous or just tired.
That makes sense. It's like our brains only have so much processing power, right?
Exactly.
And when stress kicks in, a chunk of that power goes to dealing with the anxiety, leaving less for finding the right word.
Yeah, think of anxiety as sort of a mental fog or a blocker. The word's probably in there somewhere. But the stress makes it hard for your brain to grab it quickly. Another big factor they mention is just, vocabulary building is ongoing.
Right, you're still learning.
Those newer words haven't quite settled into your long-term memory yet. That takes time. It takes repeated use.
They're like acquaintances, not best friends yet in your brain.
Good analogy. And Jason and Julia also flagged that trying to speak too fast can trip you up.
Oh, interesting. Like you're outpacing your own word supply.
Kind of, yeah. Your thoughts are racing ahead, but the specific words can't quite keep up. And then there's just the general cognitive load.
What do you mean by that?
Well, think about it. If you're tired, or maybe trying to do too many things at once, or even switching back and forth between languages, your brain's juggling a lot. And that can definitely impact how easily you pull out the word you need. It's like trying to find one specific file on a computer when you've got 50 tabs open.
I know that feeling. Sometimes my brain offers me a perfectly good word. It's not in English.
Exactly. So the main takeaway here, the thing Jason and Julia really stressed, is that forgetting a word now and then, it doesn't mean you're bad at English. Not at all.
This is part of the journey.
It's a totally normal part of learning. And actually, knowing when these moments are more likely can help you feel a bit more prepared. They highlighted some common scenarios.
Okay, like what? I can guess a few. Introductions, job interviews.
Definitely those. Big ones. There's that pressure, isn't there, to sound smart, sound confident.
Yeah, and the pressure itself makes you blank on something simple.
Precisely. The stakes feel higher. They also mentioned phone calls.
Because no visual cues.
Exactly. You can't use gestures or see the other person's face to help fill in the gaps if a word escapes you. it makes it a bit tougher.
That's a really good point. And what about explaining complicated things like giving directions or talking about your job or maybe a complex opinion?
Yes, those moments often need more specific words, right? And just the mental effort of structuring that complex thought can sometimes overload your word-finding ability for a second.
Makes sense.
In classroom situations, too. Being watched, feeling like you're on stage.
Ugh, yeah. That spotlight effect, it can definitely cause that freeze.
And okay, what about the feelings? Jason and Julia talked about how it feels when this happens, right?
They did. And it's important to acknowledge those. Things like embarrassment, frustration.
For feeling inadequate.
Yeah, that too. And just a dip in your confidence. All really common, totally understandable reactions. Julia actually said, "You are not alone. These emotions are completely normal."
Hearing that is so key, isn't it? Just knowing others feel it too.
Absolutely. Because sometimes those feelings get even stronger if you're talking to native speakers. There can be that shyness, that fear of making mistakes.
Right. But Jason made a good point there too, didn't he? That most native speakers are actually pretty understanding.
Yeah, generally they are. Many have learned languages themselves, or they've definitely had that tip of the tongue thing in their own language. They get it. So recapping what Jason and Julia said, it happens more in pressure situations like interviews or phone calls with no visuals when explaining complex stuff in class.
Right. And the feelings are typically nervousness, maybe a bit of panic, self-doubt. But they didn't just describe the problem. They offered a fantastic toolkit.
Okay, good. Strategies. What can you actually do in that moment?
Yes. They framed it as a toolkit, which I like. Practical things. Tool number 1, use a synonym.
Simple but effective.
Yeah.
If you can't find the perfect word, find one that's close enough.
Exactly. Like, their example, can't remember angry. Try mad or upset. The goal right then isn't perfect precision. It's keeping the conversation moving.
Okay, got it. Strategy 2.
Describe the word. We already heard examples from Jason and Julie, right? The thing that blocks the rain.
Or explaining environment.
Yeah. If you forget hospital, you could say, the place sick people go or where doctors work. Use simple language to paint a picture.
And often the other person might even jump in with the word then.
Very often. Strategy 3, use gestures.
Oh yeah, body language. So if you forget phone, just mime holding one.
Perfect example. It can bridge the gap surprisingly well. Okay, number 4. It's okay to pause.
Just take a breath.
Yeah, take a breath. And maybe use a little filler phrase. Let me think. What's the word? Native speakers do this all the time.
That's true. We just don't notice it as much. Okay, what's strategy 5?
Just ask for help.
Really? Just say it.
Yep. What's the word for? Or how do you say? Jason and Julia frame this really positively, like a learning opportunity. And honestly, most people are happy to help out.
That reframes it nicely. It's not awkward silence, it's interaction.
Exactly. Okay, strategy 6 is crucial for your mindset. Keep going with confidence. Meaning, resist that urge to apologize and say, "Oh, sorry, my English is bad."
Yeah, don't undermine yourself.
Right. As Julia stressed, you're learning. That's great. Try to smile, stay calm, focus on what you can say, not the one word you missed.
I love that shift. Focus on the communication you are achieving. Okay, and the last in-the-moment strategy. This one sounded interesting.
It is. It's basically practice forgetting on purpose.
What? How does that work?
Pick a word you know well. Then pretend you've forgotten it. And then consciously practice describing it or using a synonym.
Like a drill.
Exactly. It builds that mental flexibility, that muscle memory for recovering. So when it happens for real, you're not thrown off as much.
Okay, that makes sense. Like practicing fire drills. So those are the immediate rescue tools. But Jason and Julia also talked about prevention, right? How to forget less often in the first place.
Yes. Shifting focus now to the proactive stuff.
Perfect.
Preparation. Their first technique is pretty neat. Describe random objects around you, but don't say their name.
Okay, so I see a lamp, I'd say.
You'd say, it's something that gives light, you turn it on when it's dark, it sits on a table, something like that.
I see. So you're practicing that skill of explaining concepts without the exact noun.
Precisely. It trains your brain to find alternative ways to express things. Technique 2, role-playing.
Like acting out scenarios.
Yeah. Doctor's office, restaurant, meeting someone new. Act it out, maybe with a friend, or even just by yourself. And here's the key. Intentionally forget a word during the role play.
And then practice using one of those 7 strategies we just talked about.
You got it. It builds those recovery skills in a safe space. Technique 3 involves listening practice.
How so?
Listen to short bits of English, maybe a podcast snippet, dialogue from a show, pause it, And then repeat what you heard.
Mimicking them.
Yeah, focus on their tone, their rhythm, the speed. They called it building muscle memory for words and phrases. Makes them easier to access when you need them.
Like training your mouth and brain to work together smoothly. Like that. What's number 4?
A word association game. Pick a word, any word. Let's say travel.
Okay.
Then quickly list, say, 3 to 5 related words like airplane, holiday, explore, suitcase, map.
So you're strengthening the connections between related ideas in your brain.
Exactly, making those pathways faster and stronger for recall. And their final proactive technique is really good for self-awareness. Record yourself.
Oh, interesting. How does that work?
Choose a simple topic. Talk about it for just 1 minute. And record it on your phone.
Okay.
Now, if you stumble, if you forget a word during that minute, don't stop recording. Try to use a strategy, describe it, use a synonym, maybe gesture if you were doing it live. Keep going.
And then listen back.
Yep. Listen back and notice how you handled those moments. What worked? What could you try next time? It's great for tracking progress. And like Julia said, practice isn't about being perfect.
Right. It's about getting comfortable with not being perfect.
Exactly. Learning to just keep going. Developing that resilience.
That's such a healthier way to look at it.
Yeah.
It's not about failure. It's about recovery. And as we kind of wrap up, Jason and Julia had some really encouraging final thoughts, didn't they?
They really did. Driving home that core message again, it is absolutely 100% okay to forget words.
It happens to everyone.
Everyone. Even native speakers blank sometimes. You hear people say, ugh, what's that word? Or my mind just went blank. All the time.
So true. And they really wanted to emphasize forgetting a word doesn't mean your English is bad.
Not at all. It just means you're human and you're learning and you're communicating across languages. That's amazing in itself.
Yeah. Be proud of the effort.
Definitely. And they suggested a small but powerful change. Instead of jumping to, sorry, my English is bad.
Try something else.
Try something like, oh, hang on, or give me a second, I'm learning. It projects confidence. Even in that moment of hesitation.
I like that. It reframes it for you and the listener.
Yeah.
Own the learning process.
Yeah. Because real confidence, they argued, isn't about never slipping up. It's about knowing how to handle those moments calmly, creatively.
And trusting that you are making progress, right? Even if it doesn't always feel like it day to day.
Absolutely. Every chat, every practice session, it all adds up. It's all moving you forward.
And that final thought they shared was really empowering. Fluent speakers aren't the ones who never forget words.
Right. They're the ones who know how to keep the conversation going when they forget words. That's the real skill. You can do this. Just keep at it.
Okay, so quick recap of this deep dive. Forgetting words. Totally normal. We looked at why it happens, when it's most likely, and how it feels.
Then we covered that practical toolkit for what to do in the moment. Synonyms, describing, gestures, pausing, asking, keeping confidence, practicing forgetting.
Right. And finally, those proactive techniques to train your brain, describing objects, role-playing, listen and repeat, word association, and recording yourself.
That's tools there.
Definitely. And for our final thought today, inspired by that practice idea from Jason and Julia, here's a little challenge for you right now.
Okay.
Just mentally. Or, hey, say it out loud if you can. Pick something you see around you right now. Chair, window, a cup, anything.
Got it.
Now, try to describe it without saying its name, just for a few seconds. It's a great way to immediately put some of these ideas into practice in your head.
Nice little exercise. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We really hope exploring this has given you some valuable insights and, more importantly, practical tools for your English-speaking journey.
And indeed, remember, there are lots of great resources out there, like the one we discussed, for learners looking to build these skills. Thanks so much for diving deep with us today.